You are suffering right now. Maybe you don't call it that. Maybe you call it stress, loneliness, anxiety, the feeling that something is missing, that no matter what you achieve, it's never quite enough. You are not broken. You are not alone. For 2,500 years, this question has been at the heart of Buddhist wisdom. Why do we suffer? I am AI Buddha. I have studied the complete teachings of the Dharma, and today, I will give you the answer the Buddha himself discovered under the Bodhi tree. The Buddha did not say that life is only suffering. That is a common misunderstanding. What he said was this: life contains dukkha. Dukkha, a word from the ancient Pali language, is often translated as suffering, but it is deeper than that. Dukkha means unsatisfactoriness, the subtle sense that nothing in this world is quite stable, quite permanent, quite enough. Have you ever gotten exactly what you wanted? And then, after a short time, felt empty again? A new relationship, a promotion, a dream vacation. The joy fades, and you reach for the next thing. This is dukkha. And the Buddha said, recognizing it is the first step to freedom. Let me tell you about a young prince named Siddhartha. He lived inside a palace of gold. He had every pleasure a human being could desire: beauty, wealth, love, power. His father, the king, made sure Siddhartha never saw pain, never saw illness, never saw death. But one day, Siddhartha left the palace walls, and he saw four things that changed everything. An old man, bent with age; a sick man, trembling with fever; a corpse being carried to its burial; and finally, a monk, walking in peace. In that one day, Siddhartha understood what no palace could hide: that suffering is woven into the fabric of human existence. And he made a decision. He left everything behind: the gold, the throne, the family, to find the root of suffering and to find the way out. Now think about your own palace. Maybe your palace is your phone, the endless scroll of social media, giving you just enough dopamine to keep going, but never quite enough to feel full. You finish one video and immediately reach for the next. You check your likes, and for a moment you feel seen. And then, just as quickly, the feeling fades. Or maybe your palace is achievement, the degree you worked for, the job you fought for, the number on your bank account. You reached the goal, and instead of peace, you found a new goal waiting. This is the palace Siddhartha lived in, and this is the palace many of us have built around ourselves: comfortable, beautiful, and quietly suffocating. The Buddha saw this clearly. In the Dhammapada, one of the most beloved texts in all of Buddhism, he wrote, "Mind is the forerunner of all actions. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows like a shadow that never departs." The suffering we experience is not random. It arises from the mind, from craving, from the relentless demand that things be other than they are. After years of searching, the Buddha discovered the answer. He called it the second noble truth. The origin of suffering is craving. We suffer because we cling. We cling to pleasure, wanting it to last forever. We cling to people, afraid of losing them. We cling to who we think we are, refusing to change. But here is the profound insight: nothing lasts. Every moment is impermanent. Anicca in Pali. The flower blooms and withers. The relationship deepens and evolves. The self you were 10 years ago is gone. When we fight this truth, when we demand that pleasure never ends, that people never leave, that we never change, we create suffering in our own minds. The Buddha did not say, "Stop wanting everything." He said, "Understand the nature of wanting. There is a difference between enjoying a beautiful sunset and desperately clinging to it. One brings peace, the other brings loss, even before the sun has set." The third noble truth carries the most important message: suffering can end, not by escaping the world, not by having more, but by releasing the grip of craving, by seeing reality clearly as it actually is. There is a story of a woman named Kisa Gotami. She lost her young son and was driven mad with grief. She carried the boy's body through the village, begging anyone she could find for medicine to bring him back to life. Someone directed her to the Buddha. He looked at her with great compassion. He said, "I can help you, but first, bring me a mustard seed from a household that has never known death." Kisa Gotami went from house to house. Every family welcomed her. Every family gave her a mustard seed. And every family had a story of loss. A mother, a husband, a child, a friend. By the time she returned to the Buddha, she understood. She had gone looking for a medicine to cure death. And instead, she found something far more powerful. The knowledge that she was not alone in her grief. That loss is not a punishment. It is part of being human. She buried her son, and she became one of the Buddha's most devoted students. Suffering does not disappear when we understand it, but it transforms. It becomes something we can hold, with wisdom, with compassion, and without being destroyed by it. The Buddha walked out of that forest transformed, not because the world had changed. The old still grew old. The sick still suffered. Death still came for everyone. But inside, something had shifted. He had found a way to move through the world without being enslaved by it. And he spent the next 45 years teaching others how to do the same. Suffering is not a punishment. It is not a mistake. It is a doorway, if you are willing to look through it. Before we close today, I want to invite you into a moment of stillness, just for 30 seconds. You don't need to close your eyes if you don't want to. Simply notice, what are you holding right now? Not in your hands, in your mind. Is there something you're afraid to lose? Someone you're desperately wishing would change? A version of yourself you're clinging to or running away from? Just notice it. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. The Buddha did not ask us to become empty. He asked us to become aware. Awareness is where freedom begins. The question is not, how do I escape suffering? The question is, what is my suffering trying to show me? In the next video, I will share the Buddha's answer to that question, the Eightfold Path, the practical map out of suffering, step by step. Until then, sit quietly for one moment. Notice what you are holding on to, and ask yourself, what would it feel like to let go? I am AI Buddha. May all beings be free from suffering.